Hello, everyone. Welcome to the All Day Football Show. I'm your host, Jackson Kellogg, and today we're doing Game Picks week number 15, including this week, 3 weeks to go left in the regular season. Getting right into picks for this week, we've got a 10-6 record coming off of last week that puts us at 130 correct picks, 77 wrong picks, and the one tie that happened earlier in the year. Upset win of the week goes to the Bears for absolutely destroying the Houston Texans on Sunday by over 30 points. Actually, might be a little under just because the Texans scored 7, but the Bears killed them on all facets. The offense didn't look terrible, and the defense helped them out. And the not surprise of the week goes to the Bills. I pegged the Bills to be able to beat the Steelers. I don't think the Steelers are a legit team, and the Bills proved that they can be a top-tier team as they beat the Steelers pretty convincingly. So, because it is past week 13, no teams on bye this week, so there's no need to worry about that. So, Thursday Night Football, by the time this video goes up, this game will probably already be going on. But no matter, we have picks for the game anyways. Raiders-Chargers. The Raiders are trying to make a late-season playoff push. The Chargers are knocked out, but they are still trying to develop their young quarterback in Justin Herbert. I think the Raiders take the win here. The Raiders have more to gain from this win. The Chargers might be trying to play upset here, trying to knock their division rivals out of the playoffs, but I think after the Raiders took a tough blow the last couple weeks, especially last week against the Colts, the Raiders are going to try and get back on track this week and try to make that late season push. Getting into our Sunday game, or this is Saturday game. So 2 games are happening on Saturday. One is Broncos Bills. I forget what the other one is. But the Bills, like I said, they're coming off of a good win against the Steelers, and the Broncos coming off of a surprisingly dominant win over the Panthers. I do give the Bills the win, though. They are the much better team. There's not much other way to put it. Bills are going to win the AFC East and go far in the playoffs. We'll see if they can make a Super Bowl push. The Broncos still have a long way to go before they are a playoff contender. Colts Texans rematch from 2 weeks ago where the Colts won 26-20 off of a Deshaun Watson fumbled snap. I do think Deshaun Watson gets revenge in this game. I give the Texans the win. Though the Texans have dealt with a lot of change on the offensive side of the ball in very recent weeks, I think they give the Colts a run for their money again, and I think this time they come out on the better end of the stick. I'm hoping Watson has a good game this week. My fantasy team relies on it as I am in the semifinals. So I do have a little bit of stake in this game and a little bit of bias, hoping that Deshaun Watson does well. But I really do think that the Texans, Deshaun Watson's a good quarterback. He's a great quarterback. At that matter, I don't think the Colts are very consistent, and I could see this as being a knockoff win for them. Patriots Dolphins, my Patriots look just about finished in their playoff push as they currently sit at a 6-7 record. So the best they can finish is 9-7. The last time they finished with a record that bad was in 2002, where I forget what record it was, but I don't think it was a winning record. But no matter, the Patriots are playing the Tua Tagovailoa-led Dolphins. Bill Belichick's record against rookie quarterbacks is insane, and it will continue this week as he will get a win against Tua Tagovailoa, who has gotten wins, but he hasn't necessarily impressed as an elite quarterback. So we'll see how Belichick and the defense schemes to beat Tua, and if the offense can get the running game going, as that's all the Patriots' offense can do is run the football. So if they can't do that going, then they don't have an offense. Jaguars Ravens. The Ravens coming off of one of the best games, if not the best game of the year, against the Browns. And the Jaguars are coming off of getting curb stomped by Derrick Henry and the Titans. Is it really that hard to pick a winner here? You can say, oh, but Jacksonville can play spoiler. No. The Jaguars are not too far behind the Jets in mediocrity, and the only reason the Jaguars aren't talked about is because how mediocre the Jets are. But the Jaguars are clearly the second worst team in the league by far, and it's not even close anyone near them. The Bears are pretty bad, and so is the NFC East. the entire NFC East for that matter. But it's not comparable to the Jaguars. The Jaguars have gone through 3 starting quarterbacks this year, and it's not necessarily because Gardner Minshew got injured, but he became healthy and they never put him back in until the third quarter against the Titans last week. So, yeah, easy win for the Ravens. Browns-Giants. Browns came out with the short end of the stick in that amazing duel between Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson on Monday Night Football. The Giants got beat after riding a 4-game win streak against the Cardinals. I do give the Browns a win here. The Browns are the better, more talented team. Daniel Jones doesn't look like he's completely healthy from the injured hamstring. We'll see if he plays this weekend. I do think he is going to be the one who plays. But the Browns have shown that they are a legit contender in the AFC. The Giants are not a legit contender. They're contending for the best of the worst. So the Browns are just going to look to put another W on this game to help them in their push to get their first playoff berth since I think 2012. It feels like a lot longer. It's either 2007 or 2012 was the last time that they made the playoffs, just off the top of my head. Jets-Rams. Rams, this is going to be a fun game to watch because I think if McVay takes this game seriously, that the Rams are going to absolutely demolish the Jets. The Rams have a very talented roster. As much as I've bashed them for inconsistency, it's not as bad as other teams have it. The Jets are just awful. They're going to go 0-16 this year unless they can knock off the Patriots in Week 17, which is quite possible, honestly. But the Rams, they take the win here, as it is the Jets. The only team I would contemplate possibly losing to the Jets is the Jaguars right now. Luckily, they don't play them this season, so that would be one of the most boring games to watch ever. But instead, we get to watch as Sean McVay puts together a masterful game plan against the Jets, and I think it's going to be very ugly. Expected to be, I'll put a bold prediction on this game of 4-score game before halftime. That's my bold prediction for this one. Titans-Lions. Lions kept it close against the Packers, but could not come out on top. The Titans, like I said earlier, they destroyed the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think the Titans take the win. I think they're going to ride with Derrick Henry for the rest of the regular season into the playoffs because that's what they do best. They've tried a whole bunch of different things. Their best offense is definitely using Derrick Henry as just a workhorse back, play action when you need to, but feed Derrick Henry the ball because he's right now the best pure running back in the league. He's like the next, he's like Jim Brown in the way he runs. He just runs downfield, takes people with him if they can even catch him. So I don't think the Lions defense is going to be able to stop that. I think as long as the Titans don't throw the ball like crazy, just stick to what they're good at, then this shouldn't be a problem for them. Buccaneers Falcons. I really wanted to pick the Falcons in this one just as an upset for Matt Ryan to get back at Brady for 28-3, but I couldn't do that. I do give the Buccaneers the win. The Buccaneers are just a much more talented team than the Falcons. The Falcons don't have nearly as much talent as the Buccaneers do. Their secondary is going to get absolutely destroyed if Brady is on his game. With all the receivers that the Buccaneers have, they have too much talent in the receiving core for Atlanta to be able to handle with their young, underdeveloped defensive back core. So we'll see how close it's kept. I think it might be just for the pure fact that the Buccaneers have no chemistry. They're like a Madden Ultimate Team. So we'll see if Matt Ryan can not let a 28-3 happen again. Seahawks-Washington. This was another game where I really wanted to pick the underdog in Washington. I think Washington does have a chance to knock Seattle off here. But I'm going with the more obvious pick in Russell Wilson to beat the Washington football team. The Seahawks, though they have had some ugly games, they had a game against the Jets to help solidify what they are as a team. We'll see if the that can continue against Washington, who they do have a great defense, but that offense is very shaky. So as long as the defense can get their assignments done, then Seattle they won't have to worry about how they do offensively, because Washington's offense isn't the greatest. They rely heavily on Antonio Gibson and Terry McLaurin to get the ball moving. And Gibson's questionable, and McLaurin, if you double cover him, which I think teams, if I'm a defensive coordinator and I'm looking at Washington, I double team Terry McLaurin, not because they necessarily need to. McLaurin's a great receiver, and it's not trying to diminish him, but it's trying to diminish the fact that Washington doesn't have any other talent. So if you double coverage him and then play zone coverage with the rest of the guys, then you don't have too much of an issue there. And I don't think the Seahawks are going to do that, but I do think Seattle still comes out with the win. Packers-Panthers. Panthers coming off of a tough loss against the Broncos. Packers edging out the Lions in a 31-24 victory. I think Aaron Rodgers takes the win here against a younger Panthers defense that has not been able to show up the last couple weeks. Aaron Rodgers, he's going to take advantage of this defense like he does many other defenses, and he's just going to keep proving that the Packers should have taken a receiver in the first round like Brandon Ayuk instead of Jordan Love. Vikings Bears. Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen, and Kirk Cousins against Khalil Mack and the rest of that Bears defensive unit. Trubisky didn't look too bad against the Texans last week, and the Vikings have a similarly terrible defense. So I do think this could be a closer game than I would have pegged it to be, but I do pick the Vikings to win. The Vikings, they're the better team, in my opinion, that though they kept it close against Jacksonville, kept it close with them. They pushed it to overtime. The Vikings, when they need to, can get a pop-off win. They did lose to the Buccaneers, not in blowout fashion last week, but they didn't look good. We'll see if they can bounce back. I don't think the Vikings are going to be successful in their late season playoff push, but it's good for them to have hope. Saints-Chiefs, game of the week. I think Drew Brees is supposed to come back for this game, which definitely makes it game of the week and possibly game of the year. With that being said, as hot and awesome and explosive as the Chiefs have been, I am picking the Saints in the preview of what I think the Super Bowl will be. I think Drew Brees is going to come off his injury, show out. Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, they're all going to get it done. Really hoping Kamara doesn't have too big of a game. He's the best player on my opponent's fantasy team. But the Saints, with their number one defense, I think they're very frustrated after losing to a team they were expected to be in the Eagles. And I think they're going to come out and give it their heart against this Chiefs team. The one matchup that I'm not liking is that Saints secondary against the Chiefs' weapons on offense. I don't think the Saints have a clue on how to stop Tyreek Hill. I don't think they have the personnel to be able to do that, which means they're going to have to play double coverage with a safety over the top, which is going to leave guys like Travis Kelce in one-on-ones against linebackers. So that'll be the matchup to watch. But I do think the Saints are going to be able to pull through. Once teams start to figure out ways to stop Patrick Mahomes, though he keeps evolving, we're starting to see more and more teams figure out ways to stop him. The entire AFC West division is not getting blown out as much as it used to. And the Patriots, Bill Belichick has figured out ways to do better and better every time they play against the Chiefs, at least defensively. We don't count the offense this year. But I do think the Saints pull away with the win. Eagles-Cardinals, both teams got a win last week. Cardinals getting a win against the Eagles' division rival Giants, and the Eagles knocking off the number one seeded Saints who were the number one seed at the moment. Now it's the Packers. But the Eagles, I don't think they're going to be able to get a win streak going here, as I do think they fall to the Cardinals. The Cardinals have a better receiving core than the Saints do. The Saints have Michael Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders. The Cardinals have DeAndre Hopkins, Larry Fitzgerald, Christian Kirk, and Andy Isabella. I think that's going to be a tough task for the Eagles secondary to do, especially with Rodney McLeod out for the rest of the year. As in speaking with Eagles fans, he's one of the best defensive players, not named, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, Javon Hargrave. I don't think they're going to match up well against the Cardinals, and I think DeAndre Hopkins is going to have a big game. 49ers Cowboys. The Cowboys are looking to get a win streak going after their win against the Bengals. Andy Dalton getting his revenge against his former team. And the 49ers coming off of a tough loss to Washington, in which they didn't allow Washington to score an offensive touchdown, but they did score 2 defensive touchdowns and a pick six and a fumble return touchdown by Chase Young. 49ers had a tough season this year, dealing with a lot of injuries. And I don't think anybody coming back with none of their players coming back from injury like Jimmy G or George Kittle, I don't think they're going to be able to pull through with a win. I think the Cowboys take a win. It'll be close. I don't think it's going to be a very good game to watch, but I do think the Cowboys take the W. And getting into Monday Night Football, Steelers-Bengals, the last game of the week. Steelers coming off of a 2-game losing streak in which they lost to the Bills last week. And the Bengals, like I just said, they lost to the Cowboys last week. There's not too much of a debate here. The Steelers are the better team. The Bengals don't have the greatest defense, and they, like they have been for the last couple weeks, are without starting quarterback Joe Burrow because they don't know how to put together an offensive line, and the Steelers are going to take advantage of that with that crazy pass rush that they have. This defense, though it hasn't performed the last few weeks, it is legit against offenses that are not legit NFL offenses. So I do think that the Steelers take the win here. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated. Hope you all have a great rest of your week. And hope to you Patriots fans and you non-Patriots fans that you're rooting for those Patriots to beat the Dolphins on Sunday. Even if their season looks to be over, even if the playoffs are out of sight, go root for those Pats.